Hello everyone, my name is Julio Cesar Dominguez and this video belongs to the subject research project. This is the step 4 of the final task 4, in which we must make a critical video of at least 6 minutes about the results and conclusions of the research project we made. So I'm going to talk to you about the research project I created, which is about the most effective or the most efficient way to teach English. So these are some results I found after doing this research. So after collecting the data obtained from the 100 surveys made, these are the results we could find. Then I found five, or better, I created five conclusions as a result of this. So the first one is that most of the teachers and students who were part of this research were in their 20s and 30s, and most of them were born in Colombia, but there were a few of them who were born in other countries where their home language was Spanish, and only 3% of them were born in the United States and were living in Colombia. The second one is that it was found that most of them have tried to learn English and their first experiences with the language was not the best one, since they were not interested in the language in that moment and the teachers they had at that time didn't have an interactive or dynamic way to teach it. Also, it was found that most of the teachers who worked at a school or an university focused their planning on grammar classes in which their students were able to read and write in English accurately than in speaking classes. Additionally, an incredible 90% of them have enrolled to an English institute to learn the second language, and it was a meaningful experience for most of them because they learned a lot and were able to communicate with others using the second language. Finally, it was found that most of the students and teachers agreed with the speaking and dynamic classes are the best ones to make the classes interesting ones and increase the students' interest in learning the language. Well, these were the results that I found with this research, and this is the conclusion that I made after all this. Um, so, as a conclusion of this research, we can say that there is a lot of information about this on the web, about methodologies of teaching English or teaching English methods. So it's kind of accessible, to design a plan of study, collect information, and analyzing it. There are plenty of institutions, teachers, and students who could help us with some interviews in order to get useful information for this research. And finally, it is a topic which is interesting for many teachers who want to know more about this. After getting data from different bibliographies, we concluded that the most appropriate way to teach English as a foreign language can be defined as a group of strategies that are focused on how a teacher can provide the students such as useful contextualization, grammar structure, vocabulary, and other relevant tools in order to get the second language effectively. The role of English teachers in a class is very important as well, since teachers are pretty important factor in a student's learning process because they are the ones who have the responsibility to look for the most efficient ways to transmit knowledge to the students. And this was clearly shown on the surveys when students mentioned they prefer the speaking or conversational classes than the grammar ones. Finally, my personal conclusion about the most efficient way to teach English from my experience as a student and an English teacher is that English is a very useful language because it can give us plenty of leisure opportunities and make us able to communicate with people around the world. As a student, the most meaningful classes were those in which I interacted with my teacher and my classmates, having speaking and as the main focus of the class. And as an English teacher, I found that my students feel so pleased when I pay attention to them, solve their questions, and teach English with real examples they can use in their daily experiences with other people. So these are the results and the conclusion I made after doing this research. Um, Now I will talk a little bit about what this subject may mean to me. I found it very interesting to learn some strategies around doing a research because it is not an easy task. It is pretty difficult because you need to get a lot of information about it. You need to read a lot. Um, it's not difficult to write. It's not difficult to. Sorry, it's not easy. It's not easy to write about a topic. You need to get a lot of information from different authors. So you need to get a lot of data, read and take from it what you need, what is useful for your research. So it takes a lot of time. You need a lot of time to do a research, but after you finish it, it feels very well. You feel satisfied because all that effort is worth it. It's worth it. That's it. These were my results and the conclusion I made after doing this research about the most efficient ways or the most efficient way to teach English. I already shared my experience with you as an English student and an English teacher. That's what I do in this moment. Now that's my profession, and that's why I wanted to do this research because I found it pretty interesting and useful for new teachers, for people who are starting to be an English teacher. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for your attention, and see you in the next time. Goodbye.